All right, on this video, we're going to look at our first two voting methods. So for this, you're going to need your 1.2 through 1.5 notes and some type of basic calculator. So we've talked about how there's not really a fair way to determine the outcome of an election. So we're going to look at a couple of different methods, and each one has its flaws. So the plurality method is one of the more common methods, and it's also one of the easier ones. So this one is the most common and the easiest. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a preference schedule, and the winner is going to be the candidate with the most first place votes. So if we end up with a tie, so if we do need to break a tie, the candidate with the least last place votes wins the tie. We talked about this a little bit on the last video, so we kind of got used to looking at last place votes as well. So the problem with the plurality method is that a candidate can win the election without a majority of the votes. So they can have less than half the votes or exactly half the votes and still win the election. Okay, so for our example, here we have our preference schedule. So remember, up here we have the number of voters that ranked the candidate in this way. So 27 people chose this ranking, 15 chose this ranking, and so on. It's always a good idea to get total number of votes. So I'm going to add up all of these numbers across the top. So I'm going to grab a calculator for that really quick. So we have 27, 15, 11, 9, 8, and 1. And that comes out to be a total of 71 votes. Okay, so always a good thing to have handy. All right, so we are going to count first place votes. So we're going to start with candidate A. We are only interested in this first line. We're only interested in first place. So here's the only place we see A, and that is going to be a total of 15 votes. So I'll put 15 here. So candidate B, I see them in a couple of different places. So there's 11 votes, 8 votes, and 1 vote. So we're going to have to add all of those together. And that's going to give me a total of 20 first place votes. Okay, so for candidate C, they got 27 first place votes. And then the only one left is D, so D got 9 first place votes. So for this method, we're just looking at the person with the most first place votes, so that would be C. So C wins the election. And if we go ahead and rank the candidates from first to last, so C won. If we look at our number of votes, we can see that B came in second, A came in third, and then D came in last. Now notice it didn't specifically ask for this, but if we think about what a majority would be, if we have 71 votes, we would half 71, and that gives us 35.5. 35.5, and we remember we have to round that up to the next whole number. So 36 votes is a majority. So we can see that we had a winning candidate without having a majority, and that is the problem with this method. All right, now we're going to look at one more method. If you look at the next page, we're going to look at what's called the Borda count method. This one is a little bit more complicated. So what we do for Borda count This is the second most common method. On this one, we're not just going to look at first place, we're going to look at first through fourth. So what we do is we assign points for each place on a ballot. Last place gets 1 point, next to last gets 2 points, and so on, with first place getting the most points. If you'll notice on this example, I've already put the point totals. So this is last place, so they get 1 point. And then we start at the bottom and we go up. So since there's 4 candidates, it goes up from 1 point to 4 points. So they get basically that many points anytime somebody votes for them in that place. So what we have to do on this one is we have to add up all the points for each candidate. The winner is the candidate with the highest point total. Okay, so what this method does basically is it gives the average ranking of each candidate. Okay, so we're not just looking at first place, we're looking at all the places. So this one is a little bit more complicated. I would recommend if you have a couple of different colors, I like to use different colors for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this first column right here. So notice there's 27 votes. Okay, so anyone who picked C first place, C is going to get 4 points for that vote. So for this one, we're going to do the 27 votes times the 4 points. Okay, so I'm going to do 27 times 4, and that's going to be a point total of 108. Now if I move down to D, notice this is second place, which is 3 points. But we still had 27 people that voted for that, so it's going to be 27 times 3 points. So 27 times 3, and we get 81. So we can see as we move down to third place, it's only worth 2 points. There's still 27 voters, so 27 times 2 points. So that'll be 54. When we get down to the bottom, this is worth 1 point. There's still 27 voters, so 27 times 1 point will give us 27. So I like to do this in columns because the number of votes stays the same. I just go 4, 3, 2, 1 on the points. All right, so if we move to the next column, we have 15 voters. So for first place, it's going to be 15 times 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. For third place, we're going to do 15 times 3. I'm sorry, second place, which is 3 points. When we move down to third place, that's 2 points. So 15 times 2, 15 times 1. So we always see the number of votes here and the number of points here. So that comes out to be 60. 15 times 3 is 45. 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 1 is 15. All right, so we move on to 11 points. We're going to go 11 times 4, 11 times 3, 11 times 2, 11 times 1. I like to write this out before I do my calculations because it kind of keeps me with all my numbers in the right place. So 44, 33, 22, and 11. All right, we're moving to 9 points. So 9 times 4 for first place. Then we're going to go 9 times 3, 9 times 2, 9 times 1. So the first number is always your number of votes. Your second number is your number of points. So 36, 27, 18, and 9. So we move down to 8. We're going to go 8 times 4, 8 times 3, 8 times 2, 8 times 1. So 32, 24, 16, and 8. Okay, our last one is only one vote for that one. So 1 times 4, 1 times 3, 1 times 2, 1 times 1. So that'll be 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so here's where I'm going to use the colored pencils and highlighters. So for A, I'm going to go ahead and use orange. You can use whatever color you want. I want to go through and I want to find everywhere I see A. So I go down the first column, A's at the bottom. So I'm going to circle those 27 points. For the second column, A's at the top. I'm going to circle the 60. For the next column, A has 22 points. The next column, A has 27. The next column, A has 24. And the next column, A has 3. So you should find 1 in each column. So that's going to be all of A's points. 27 plus 60 plus 22 plus 27 plus 24 plus 3. So I'm going to add that up real quick on my calculator. And that comes out to be 163 points. All right, so there's A's point totals. So now I'll go ahead and pick a different color. I'm going to do green for B. You can do any color you want. So I go find B on each column. Let me scoot that up for you a little bit. So here B has 54, B has 45, B has 44, B has 18. On this column, B has 32, and this column, B has 4. All right, so we're going to add that up. 54 plus 45 plus 44 plus 18 plus 32 plus 4. All right, so that comes out to be 197 points. So a little bit better than A. All right, let's find a different color. I'm out of highlighters, but I'll do red for C. So it should get a little easier as you go because you've got more of them already used. So we have 108, 15, this column is 11, this column is 9, this column is 16, and this column is 1. So we have 108 plus 15 plus 11 plus 9 plus 16 plus 1. Okay, I'm going to put all that in the calculator real quick. And we get 160 points. All right, so we are down to our very last one. Let's see if I can do maybe pink for this one. So we're looking at D. So we've got 81. It should be the only thing in each column you haven't used yet. So 30, 33, 36, 8, and 2. All right, so 81 plus 30 plus 33 plus 36 plus 8 plus 2. All right, so we're going to add all of those together. And we get 190 points. All right, so if we look at the one with the most points, this is going to be B, so they win the election. And if we do a complete ranking, B got first. We can see that D got second. Sorry, I didn't mark my color on D. We can see that A got third and C got last. Now, I don't know if you paid any attention, but this is the same preference schedule as we used on the previous page. I just gave you more room so to do all the numbers. But if you look back at the first page, this is the exact same election, but C was the winner, so it went C, B, A, D. So by using a different voting method, B was the winner, and notice C went all the way to last place. So the person that won the election with plurality method got last place using the board account method. All right, we'll do our last two methods on the next video.